um, if I can pass this on to anyone, actually, I think the fact that we actually did it was great. We did it online. That in itself is demonstrating that we exist, we're alive, we haven't gone to sleep, so to speak. We're
Yeah.
still doing something. We got some very good reactions, and on our Facebook page, we got some really good, encouraging reactions, which is the important thing. And they came from a cross section of people as well. It wasn't just from the familiar culprits; it was from different people. And I suppose for me, it was we were trying to project a message of hope and life,
Yeah.
and I think that came across quite well. What we did, we actually virtually it was all pre-recorded. To be honest, there was no live stuff there at all. And the
Okay.
main reason was one, it was much easier to get people together doing that. Um,
Yeah.
we weren't going to go into a studio or into a church to do any elements live. We wanted to make certain, but the biggest issue we would face therefore is how would it look as a whole piece? How would it
Yeah.
flow? So
Yeah.
if I was recommending anything to anyone, is make certain you have a good editor. And we had a good editor who worked with me on it because I was really mainly the one driving it. And but we managed to get people to participate in a way which I thought was really encouraging. Bishop Madoba said yes straight away. The people who contributed those sound bites you were saying, Ros, they said, you know, they were there on the front line. They are journalists. There's an ITN reporter. And we asked them the basic question, where was God in this pandemic? Where was God in the news? And they responded to that. We also were grateful to the prayer contributions which are leading up to the day of prayer, which is this Sunday. We actually said to them, can we include them in our service? And they sort of added something to the service. So we had Gavin Calver, we had the Reverend Christopher Landau, we had the CEO of CAP, Christians Against Poverty. And Paula has been in BBC for 25 years prior to going to CAP. So she brought that sense of understanding what we're talking about. And also we had Lucy Grimble, who she's a great worship leader. She's very much involved with David's Tent, which is August Bank Holiday Festival. But she's also, she leads worship in a church. She's also an ambassador for International Justice Mission. And she was great. And it's very hard, isn't it, as you guys probably know, to actually lead worship online. And I thought, did it well. I think she did it well enough for people to engage, and we obviously put the words up on the screen. So I got a sense that, from me, that people felt engaged, because it's very easy not to feel engaged when you do a service online. It's very easy to be a spectator rather than and that's where Chinny MacDonald, who is one of our trustees, and Chinny is head of public engagement at Christian Aid, and she's a broadcaster as well. She was able to sort of do the links, which linked it all up together. And I think that was crucial, because she was able to actually speak to you, talking to you on the camera. And that was so important. I think if I reflect on it, I think there's lots of things you could do better. You know, you're bound to say, oh, that could be better. There was this guy, the chairman of the charity. I thought he was terrible.
No, he wasn't. He did well. It's a hard, because you were asking for finance, weren't you? So that was always a bit hard. But
I didn't deliberately say what I wanted it for. The reason why is because it actually provoked people to come to me and say, what do you want it for? Why do you want money? And which is actually encouraging, because then you can follow up. But it wasn't just about that. It's about really trying to reach out to people, understanding where they are. You know, in the your dentist conference, how can you sort of engage with people and find out how are they really feeling? You know, what are they going through? You know, what are their challenges? What are their issues? And really, that's what we, in a way, did come across, because some people have come back to me about that as well. So it's a lot to do. There's a lot to try and get across on the screen. But as a first attempt, it sort of encouraged me to think, how can we build on this? And that's the crucial thing. What happens next? You know, with a momentum, we got quite a number of good views, actually. We got more views perhaps than we thought we might get on YouTube, I'm talking about. And I'm also still reminding people that it's still available. If you didn't catch it, you can still see it. Lucy Grimble, for example, who led the worship, didn't see it. So I said to her, when are you going to see it? Anyway, she's going to catch up with it, and there are others who are going to catch up with it. So it's still there. Make certain you follow up with that in case they can't do it, can't come together on the 7th of November. They could still do it days later. So I think all in all, my conclusion is it was well worth doing, and it didn't cost much money at all. Really, it was peanuts money. I mean that. I'm being serious. To put that together and bring everything together. Everyone did it for free except for one or two, which is fine, and which we understood that would be the case. So overall, I think the trustees are pleased. I think it encourages us to look at what we can do better online in 2021, because COVID-19 is still here. It's staying with us. It's not going to go away. What can we do online which engages the people we're trying to reach? Because it's all about engagement. It's all about having an ongoing conversation. It's all about reaching out to them and saying, how can we support you, even though it's online, but how can we touch those parts which you find are challenging for you in your workplace? And so we're really exploring lots of things for next year. So yeah, I hope that helps. I hope
really good. I thought I thought the music was great because it wasn't really in your face. It's very gentle, and you could sing along, worship along to it, which sometimes it's just on the background on these things. So that was excellent. I watched it on YouTube. So was it going out on many different forums at the same time, Steve?
No, we just decided to do it on YouTube, and we obviously created a link. What we did, we invited people, as you know, Ros, to register beforehand that they were going to join it. It's obviously free. So we used the Eventbrite page for people in that way, so that we can actually, and we will follow up. We haven't done it just yet, but we will follow up with an email follow-up. But that, and then on the day before, I think it's almost the night before the actual event, we sent out the link to it, which enabled people just to click on and make it easier for them, in other words. So the easier you can make it, the better, because people will find an excuse not to join. We all know that. But if you can make it so easy, just click there and you'll join us. And then we had a countdown from about 15 minutes before the start. So so we started the video from 6:45, but it started actually at 7, which enabled people to get. Because I do know that one church, like St Paul's Hammersmith in London, they were contacting me about they were setting it up in their church to watch, and so there were churches actually, as far as I know. That means one view, right? But there are 30 to 40 people watching it. So you really don't know how many people are gathered around that screen, which is quite fascinating. So when you see on YouTube one view, who knows how many's there? So, and one view counts as, I think, 30 seconds minimum watching. That's how YouTube counts it. So, whatever that means. People might click onto it and sort of stay with it. If they stay with it longer than 30 seconds, they're going to stay with it longer than that. So I hope that helps in any way about your conference on the 7th, Karen, because don't worry if you suddenly only have 50 people, turning up. They will catch it later as well, but just encourage that. Keep reminding them.